Oh boy. Where do I begin with this one? Transporter Refueled. This movie stars Ed Skrein. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. He's the one taking over for Jason Statham as Frank Martin. Now this is the fourth Transporter movie. It also stars Ray Stevenson, and it's directed by Camille Delamar. This movie was pretty shit. Alright, so let's start off with the not so bad part of the list. Ray Stevenson, he was a pretty good character in this movie. I thought he was probably the most believable of everybody. He was the one actor in the movie that actually seemed like he was trying, or maybe he was the only actor that was skilled, I'm not sure. But that really about does it for the good part of my list. Now as far as the bad part, oh man. The thing that really makes up the whole of this movie, a big poop stick. Let's start off with the big plot. At one point, the transporter gets a job from this girl and her three friends. And basically the movie revolves around him trying to help out these three girls. And that's pretty much the plot. I mean, it's the transporter. You don't need a huge in-depth plot. But there is so much bad dialogue, bad choreography, just bad everything in this movie. I'm gonna give away a few little spoilers, not in terms of plot points because I don't want to give anything away in the movie. Not that there's anything really to give away, but just certain scenes, things that happened that really annoyed me and made this movie a big piece of poop. For example, part of the plot, there's a scene where the transporter's driving with his father and the phone starts ringing. And the dad says, "Aren't you gonna get that?" And he says, "I don't answer the phone when I'm driving." Very serious. But then about 200 other times during the movie, he's driving and the phone rings and he's just, "Hello?" So what the hell was the point of that scene? Also, the entire movie, the dialogue is just horrible. Everyone's monotone and they all speak in this flat, you can't tell if there's high tension, low tension, excited, adrenaline, or sexual tension. It's all the same. "Hello, I am the transporter. Who are you? I need you to do something for me. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba." And that's how everybody talks in the whole movie. Also, another big thing that was big in the Jason Statham transporters is he had his rules. One of the rules was you don't change the deal. You know, you have your deal that you make with him and you don't change anything, otherwise he's not going to do the job, right? This girl hires him to do a job. She then fulfills everything she says. She has her packages and they weigh the right amount and everything, and then he just kind of is like, "Never mind, I'm not going to do this one. Get out of the car." And I'm thinking, why? She fulfilled everything. What? There was no real reason to him saying no. I didn't understand that at all. Also, one of his rules was, I don't remember what the exact rule is, but basically he's always on time, right? And he wants everyone else to always be on time. But I think about 500 times in this movie, his dad calls him, or someone's trying to get a hold of him and wondering where he is. "Why are you late? You're late again. 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 I'm only 38 seconds late." Dude, this guy's the most shitty transporter I've ever seen. He like breaks all his rules and he's late all the time. And that kind of leads me into the bad dialogue in this movie. There's one point where he's late to getting to his car and the girls are trying to escape a certain situation. One of the girls says, "Is he getting tea or something?" Did she really just say that? It was like the most corny dialogue I've ever seen. Throughout the entire movie, I didn't write it all down, but man, it was one bad one-liner after another bad one-liner after another bad one-liner. It was just like eye-rolling the whole movie. Bad, monotone one-liners. Also, these girls in this movie, I just didn't understand what their thought process was at any point during the movie. At one point in the movie, they're doing a heist type of thing, and they all put on these blonde wigs, really bad blonde wigs. And they do it so that on the cameras, they can't tell who's who because they all kind of look the same. And I was like, okay. But then throughout the rest of the movie, they're burning evidence, you know, they're burning their car, their clothes, so there's no evidence left of them. But yet they keep wearing these blonde wigs in almost every scene of the movie. They go to a place, put on these blonde wigs, and then instantly all the bad guys recognize them. "Hey, that's the girls that did that thing." Ditch the damn blonde wigs and then nobody will recognize you and you will have no issues in this movie. One of the girls, even when she takes off the blonde wig, it looks like she has on a bad brown wig. Like, who's doing the hair in this movie? Speaking of that dad, he's supposedly a retired spy in this movie. My god, he must have been the worst spy in the world because I think he gets kidnapped like 500 times. He even says in the movie, "I've been sucker punched a bunch of times but this is the first time by a woman or something like that. So what, this guy gets sucker punched and kidnapped all the time? What kind of spy were you, man? Probably why this transporter is such a shitty transporter, because he had such a shitty spy dad. Also, the choreography in this movie was just horrendous. The car chases, for example, should be a good car chase movie, right? It's the transporter, for God's sake. I don't know how many times they did the exact same car flip. There's a car here sitting there, another car comes up, they do that same car wreck in like 12 different scenes. It's like, do you guys have any other ideas? Does someone else out there brainstorm when they're coming up with these car chase scenes? It's the same exact one every time. The actual hand-to-hand combat in this movie, if you remember the Jason Statham movies, he was badass. That was a bad impression, but you know what I mean. This movie, it seemed, you can just taste the choreography. It's so bad. You can just feel that they were not trained martial artists. Not to mention the bad guys get knocked out so easily in this movie. 4 different scenes where just the car doors opening will like knock a guy out. Like at one point there's all these guys surrounding his car and he has a smartphone app, you know, and he's like, open car doors, and the car doors just and these like 3 guys are just like blah. A couple other scenes in the movie where like someone's by his car and he just opens the door, boom, and they're just like blah. Really? And the girls in this movie were so annoying. There's a scene that had potential to be really cool. He puts the car in neutral, it's on a slight hill, and this car is just going real slow. He gets out of the car while it's rolling, and he's fighting these guys in front of the car. You know, he's trying to beat them all up so they can keep going. And he tells all the women in the car, don't touch anything, I'm gonna take care of this. He's obviously beating the guys up, but every woman in the car is just like, oh my god, hit the brake! Hit the brakes! What are we gonna do? Oh my god! Oh my god! Hit the brakes! What are we gonna do? And it's like, are you serious? You're going like 1 mile per hour. Even if you run into something, you're just gonna go clunk. Also, there's no chemistry between the characters in this movie. The father and son sort of have chemistry just because the father's a better actor, I think. But the women and the guys in this movie, they're supposed to kind of have this sexual attention, but you can just tell it feels forced. Like, I don't know if in real life they were just appalled by each other or something. Ow, I just bit my lip. You didn't feel that chemistry in it. It's obvious that you're supposed to, because there's a few scenes that are supposed to be like sad or dramatic kind of, but you're just kind of sitting there like, I don't give a shit about these people because they're so bad at acting. And then the climactic scene of this movie is so anticlimactic. That's it, and then it just kind of ends and you're like, okay, I guess. And I can't tell you exactly without giving away plot points, but just the thought processes behind the female character, the main female character in this movie is just beyond me. Like, I'm like, what are you thinking right now? It's just dumb. What they should have done to save this movie, get a badass choreographer, get some badass stuntmen, and have some badass fight scenes. I can forgive an action movie for having a bad plot, having plot holes. I don't care. I just want to go to the movies to be entertained. But when the fight scenes suck, when the car chase scene sucks, when the dialogue sucks, when the acting sucks, when everything in the movie kind of sucks, it makes it not as entertaining. And it's pretty obvious why Jason Statham didn't do this movie. He probably saw the script and was like, no. So even though the movie looked kind of cool, they had cool cars, they had some cool boats, but everything else was just poop. I can't forgive it. Now, it's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I didn't feel bored during the movie, which is good, I guess. So what are you gonna do with this movie? Be ready, because this tease is gonna give you blue balls. And you're not getting anything close to what you want out of it. Just as a reminder, guys, like this video, comment on this video. I want to know what the worst scenes in this movie were for you. I want to know what the worst one-liners were for you in this movie. Are you excited to see this movie? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel, recommend me to your friends. I'm going to start doing movie reviews every week, and watch my other reviews if you can handle it. Go.